Welcome to Hair Up, Bra Off podcast. We're here to be your new comfort fix with unfiltered conversations on random topics and gossip. As two women in their 30s, Kathryn, who's been chronically single, and Sue, who is happily married with 2 cats. So take your bra off, throw your hair up, and let's get into it. And men, if you're listening, take notes. So on today's podcast, we're going to talk about our many past frogs that we've kissed and how Sue especially has gone from having a toothless boyfriend to now a husband. And her Say that again?
Who has teeth?
Oh, who has teeth, yes. And who has teeth. So she's really endured it all. And we want to talk about our journeys there. So First of all, let's just start with that because I feel like that's a good start off point on the toothless.
Let's start with what?
You're toothless?
Yeah, well, I think I have to give context as to why I was where I was.
No needed. No, I'm just kidding.
No needed? Okay.
I'm just
Yeah, I'm going to just jump right into it.
No, please
so I
explain
was down
the
on
background.
myself. No, I think that what it was is and I don't know how many people or how many women feel this way, but I have always felt like I just kind of dated whoever asked me to date them. Not like they were good, and I think I got lucky because they were nice people, but they weren't I wasn't oh no, these are my standards. It's not that's for sure. I mean, I started dating when I was 12, and I was like, this person is good looking and they like me back. And they actually my first boyfriend had a girlfriend at the time, and he left his girlfriend for me. So
wow.
I started that's how my love life began. Yeah. And he was maybe 3 years older than me. And I was 12. So
a good thing to also know is you were young. You were always the youngest out of the group. You were always around older people because when you moved here, you moved up grades. Correct? What was that?
So I was always the youngest one in my class in Peru, and then when I moved to the US, they didn't hold me back. So I ended up being 13 and a sophomore in high school. But that's kind of around I would have been in the same grade, kind of in Peru. So it just kind of aligned to the same grade. I was just younger than the.
Got it. Our education system is slacking. Noted. I'm just kidding.
I had to pass a math test that was so easy for me. I mean, it's math. It's the same in every country, So that was easy for sure.
Yeah. So then you were younger, around older.
I was younger. Guy was older. Broke up with his girlfriend. And then so then that kind of started my dating anyone that would just, pay attention to me, I think. And I never really distinguished. I just started dating people that like me back. I mean, so that was my first one. Then I remember dating someone in when I was living in Florida, and I think this is before the toothless man. This guy was, or maybe after. So this guy was in his 20s. He was 21, and I was 16, and he had to use fake IDs to get into the teen nights.
Dude, why did you say that while I was drinking water? I was just, wait a second. I never knew that the guy was this much older.
Yeah, he was. He kept lying about his age because he couldn't get into the clubs that we could, because we were 16. So we go to teen nights.
That is such a pedo move. Typically people are trying to get in older. But this man is trying to go
No, this man had a fake ID that said he was 20 so that he could get into the teen night because he was 21. Wow. Yeah.
Well then.
That's how wild I was, Kat. And then I also on top of that, he graduated high school the same year that I graduated high school because he was held back 3 years.
Got
whatever.
it.
So.
Did your parents know about his age? Did he lie to everyone?
I don't think they knew specifically his age, but my parents never really cared too much about the people that were dating. It was because also I would bring them to the house. He would come into my house and met my parents and talk to them. and like they just felt like he was a good guy. Um, but then that's, I don't know. I think my parents think everybody's a nice person, so I don't know if they're like a good filter, of character.
Well, yeah, they probably also just thought they probably just made the assumption that he
That he
was,
couldn't have been
yeah,
more than like 18.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I know for sure.
So I think
But
that
he
was
was
what it was.
definitely 21. And no, but they also, I think, just trust me a lot. I would just bring men to the house and be like, "This is my boyfriend now." And they'll be like, "Okay, like, what are we gonna
Sue being
say to
Sue.
her?" She's still, she's still like graduating, going to college. Like I was still doing everything that I was doing. He was just now, part of my life. And for being 21, he was very like emotionally immature. Like he was very like insecure about himself. But, he had a reason. Like he apparently stole from Home Depot, or like let his friend steal like $1,000 worth of equipment, and he like went to jail for something whatever. I think it's like Grand Theft Auto or something. And so he was doing community service when I met him at Goodwill, and that was his job.
Wait, rewind. You met him at Goodwill?
No, he had a job at Goodwill when I met him at the teen night that I went to, that he had.
Got you.
To use a fake ID for. So I just want to give the context because those were my standards. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
Yes.
we're already starting from a very low place. Like when people would be like, "Oh, Sue, you've always had so many boyfriends," it's like I want to make clear it's because
you really had to climb your way up. You had to claw.
It's not like anybody wouldn't pass the threshold like to be my boyfriend. It was just like, I guess, don't try to kill me, and I wasn't like, "Oh, you have to have like a job, I have to have money." So it was during that same time that I met this guy who like didn't have teeth, according to one of my best friends, Nelly or Tatiana, whatever she goes by. She swears he didn't have teeth. I don't know. He was taller, so I never saw really like a lot of what was happening up there. But I believe her. She says that he had no teeth.
You couldn't
I think
feel it? Like, did you guys ever
Kat,
make
do
out?
you think that if I remembered any of that, I would be okay right now? I clearly blocked it out. I blocked out so much of the only reason why I'm remembering this is because we're talking about it. But the feeling of anything, Kat, is blocked. It's like deep blocked, deleted. Like my brain literally was like, "Oh, let's look at that file. It's not convenient for us. Let's delete it." Delete forever.
It's like every time your brain does like an upgrade, it automatically deletes all other old folders to create new storage.
What can create this woman's stress? Cannot have more stress on top of everything she's going through. It's like, let's delete this as part of her past. Let's just leave like the important things that can happen, but nothing below that, because it's just not, it's not worth it. I'm pretty sure like he had bad breath too or something. It just wasn't.
It wasn't your concern
right.
at the time.
It just, I was just dating to date, I was just like just being with people. And that's also why I feel like I was never fully attached to anybody. So I dated that guy with no teeth. And then there was another guy that I dated that may have been a drug dealer or like was a drug dealer, at the time.
Were you picking these guys up in the jail parking lot? Were you just
yeah, actually they were all like hanging out in the parking lot in Naples, Florida. This is in Naples, Florida, by the way. They were all just like hanging there, and it's like, well, take your pick. It's like this one, Grand Theft Auto, drug dealer, no teeth, 21 years old. What else are you looking for? Because I mean,
it's true, you were flushing all of that bad boy out of your system. So when you got to an older age,
that's a good way of looking at it.
Because if you think about it, when you're dealing it with your, when you're younger, at least you're not dealing with professional criminals. You were just going with the people that, did this and that.
Yeah.
And you got it out of your system.
Delinquents. Yeah.
Dude, I was so the opposite. I was at home watching Disney Channel, like waiting for High School Musical to come on while you were picking up felons.
When you were 16?
16, yes. I mean, I was definitely a late bloomer.
When do you have your first boyfriend?
Well, in high school. I did. I think it was like 15 or 16. And it was nothing serious. It was, it was never at the level, like, when people were dating and they would post all over their MySpace and they would post a photo and say, this is the love of my life. We're going to be together forever. We have 4 kids. We already named them. And really serious. I never had that when I was younger. It was always like, oh, I like you. I like you. Our friend groups are hanging out. Let's go to the movies together and we'll like hold hands and make out a little bit.
This guy, what was your relationship like with this high school boyfriend?
Well, it wouldn't be that long. I wouldn't even say it was a relationship. It was more like we would hang out for a month and it would be fun. We would talk on the phone because back then texting would cost like 5 cents a text. So it was always calling. I remember I got my first cell phone in middle school, and that's really where my game changed from just like IM and all that other stuff. And it was never longer than a month or 2. And I'm saying like, I would never really invite the guy over to my house and introduce him as my boyfriend to my parents. Like that was never a thing for me in high school. And I just think because I was like, oh my God, if I invite him over, then my parents are going to ask questions and I don't want to.
Oh, will you guys kiss? Like, or was it just like?
Yeah, no,
platonic?
we would kiss.
Okay.
No, we would shake hands after leaving.
Are you sure you had a boyfriend?
And we had exit interviews, but it was more like all of our friends would get together on a Saturday night, and we would go to the movies. We would see a movie. We would make out. We would leave the movies, and then we'd walk to Starbucks because Starbucks was close by, and we would continue making out. God, those poor Starbucks workers. It would always just be a crowd of high schoolers every Saturday night outside of the Starbucks making out.
I love also
Bless
like
them.
what we chose to terrorize because yours was the Starbucks in Tampa and ours was the McDonald's in Naples. Yeah, so we just chose a fast food chain of some sort.
I always say whatever parking lot seemed more convenient at the time is what was the target of our attention.
Yeah.
There's a gas station right by my house that used to be Shell. And that parking lot, I remember every weekend it would be packed with teenagers getting drunk. And this is when I was in middle school. And I was like, I can't wait to go to that Shell and like hang out with the older kids. But then they locked down on it. The police would come and that sort of ended. So then Starbucks came about. And now that Starbucks is closed, but the memories still are there.
You're kind of going up the ladder there because, you're kind of like, going from a gas station to sort of a fancier coffee shop.
A premium beverage parking lot. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
That's
God,
the right word.
I remember I was in that parking lot and I would see like a more popular girl. I remember seeing her smoking for the first time and it was the most scandalous thing I had ever seen in my life. I was like, oh, she's smoking and she's with an older guy. Oh my God. She needs help. She needs help, guys.
You were one of those. You weren't like, oh, I want to do the same thing. You were like,
no.
Wow, she's going downhill.
100%. That was me freshman and sophomore year. I would even go to what do you call this? Like a youth group that was centered on like religion. It was called Young Life.
Church.
It was at the YMCA. Okay. And it was because it was like the popular thing to do. So it's very good. I used to wear shirts that said hugs, not drugs. I would tell people I would never smoke weed. I'd never be around weed. That's disgusting. You are animals. But that slowly changed it into like junior and senior year where I became more devilish, more of a teenager.
Yeah.
But
your devilish was like being around weed. Still not smoking it though.
No.
Never.
No. I would.
And then just dating a man.
And not even dating. I would say hanging out with a man was already the level of like, oh my God, that's so intimate. That's what I was thinking at the time. Like hanging out with a guy is super intimate. Having a get together, we're basically married. Wow. We're basically together.
God. I was doing crazy shit.
Kat. I know, like, that's why
when I was 12, my first boyfriend, like I told my mom that I was gonna like go from the house to her business that she had, and which is like a liquor store, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go. I'll take like a bus that should take 15 minutes, but I was gonna meet up with my 15-year-old boyfriend really because I was lying. So I got on the bus and I got off like one block after. And then cat, I tried to cross the street and I didn't realize it was like a gap. Like you know when you have like one is going up and like the other road is like down kind of. So it was kind of like a diagonal. So I just like ran and I fell onto the road, crossing the street, and there was like when I was already like crossing the street wrong because there was like it was like a major highway, so the trucks were coming at like full speed. So I had to like roll out of the road into the dirt road, and like I
You have
finally
great
got back
survival
up.
skills.
I know, I know. I literally almost saw my death. It was crazy. And then I ran, kind of like limping because my knee was fucked up, and I met with my boyfriend at the time, like, and we just hung out for like a couple hours. And we would just make out in the corner for like literally like 2.5 hours, just make out. And that was 12. So
Wow. Yeah, no, that 12 hours at home waiting for like the Disney Channel original movie to come on, and I would yell at my brother to let me record it or like play video games. I mean, it's wild because I did sneak out in high school. We would have sleepovers, but we would sneak out to go to the neighborhood park to take photos, and that was it. It was never, I'm sneaking out to,
why would you do sneak out to take photos?
because that was the cool thing to do, Sue. Like, you just didn't get it. If you don't get it, you never will.
No, clearly I didn't get this
Like,
nerd high school experience that you had, and that's weird.
I vividly remember there was Facebook photos that or not Facebook, it was MySpace photos that we posted of us going through the window and us having a full photo shoot of us coming in and out of the window because we wanted to show everyone that we snuck out to take said photos. And I'll never forget that we got caught one time. We were in the parking lot of my friend's apartment complex and we hear her brother screaming and we're like, oh my God, run. And we went back and her mom was yelling at us. And I was like, we're in so much trouble. But in all honesty, all we're doing is taking photos. Like, chill. But that was the life that I lived. And
I would
I lived
tell-
it well.
Yeah, you did.
You know?
I didn't sneak out ever. I would just tell my mom that I was gonna go sleep somewhere else. And obviously, 80% of the time we weren't sleeping, and it wasn't at the place that we said we were gonna be at. Like we were just out with our boyfriends or whoever we were with by the Naples Pier, by the beach. But there was one time, Kat, that when I was dating the 21-year-old, that I told her I was gonna sleep at my best friend's, like Nelly or Tatiana's, like house, and we went to Miami, which is, if you guys don't know the Florida geography, it's like 2.5 hours away from Naples. And we went to Club Space that at the time like allowed 18-year-olds to get in, so we like had fake IDs to get in. And then we were there the whole night, and then on the way back, because so it was my friend and my boyfriend, who had dated us both, by the way. That's a small minor thing that I didn't tell in the story, but it was the three of us, three best friends that anyone could have. And we're coming back from the club at like 7 a.m. and one of the tires popped, and we like the car lost control and we went down the ditch, like this ditch that has like alligators or whatever. And we were waiting there for like rescue, like
Oh my
8 in the morning
Oh my goodness.
in
And
the
you're
middle of I-75, like Alligator Alley. Yeah.
And wait, how did you guys get back? Like, if it was 7 in the morning?
It was like 7 a.m. So we ended up calling his mom, actually. And the mom came. And then we had also called one of our friends that we had at the time. And he also came. So we, like, the two of us rode with the guy. And then the mom kind of, I think, took the car and then took her son. But yeah. And this was, like, right in the middle of coming back from Miami. And we had spent all night in Miami on a Saturday.
And how old were you that
I was
on that
16.
trip?
16 because
Okay.
I dated this guy. Like, yeah, so yeah, I was doing crazy shit, man, when I was like in, because I think at this point I had already graduated high school probably too.
So
I
that's
was
the
probably,
other
like,
part of
into
your
close
story
to
that
my
I feel like
17.
is also important to know is that when did you graduate high school?
I was like 16 and 4 months when I graduated high school.
So you were always around much older people.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
I mean,
also,
this trip, yeah, like I took with a 21-year-old and an 18-year-old, right? So it was like
yeah.
older. Yeah.
So I feel like that's why you always found yourself in those situations because, I mean, 16 is when I really started, let's say, drinking. We would always find like an abandoned house and we would always break in and just hang out there. I remember this one house was called the Shack, and that's where all the high schoolers went to go drink, to have a rager. I mean, the poor real estate agents who had these homes, who had no idea the amount of grimy, nasty fluids that were exchanged in that house and the liquor that's probably seeped into the carpet.
How did that happen? How did we know? How did kids know which houses were abandoned?
Well, you kind of have to look at it as when we were younger, the only thing we really had to think about or worry about was school, which was, you know, Monday through Friday. And then even in the afternoons, you just have a bunch of free time. And I always say when you have free time is when you come up with your most creative ideas.
The devil's
there. The devil
boredom.
is cheering the
Devil's
boredom.
playground. Yeah.
And that's why you also you hear about the ways that prisoners create contraptions or how they plan their escape, and you're thinking, how did they ever put two and two together? But it's because they have time. That's all they have is time to come up with these ideas. And I feel like that's how we were with as teenagers. We would have time, we would figure stuff out, and hell, we called it the Shack. And that's where like everyone used to get it on.
And before you knew it, there was a DJ, and you were grinding on a wall with some stranger.
Oh, the way I remember one time my friend's parents went out of town, and it was like one of the first kiss that I have, and it was so funny because I remember we both had braces, and I was so nervous. I was like, oh my God, I've never kissed anyone with braces. And we were grinding to like reggaeton, like I forgot who it was, like Wisin Yandel, you know, some crazy things. And yeah, those were the memories. Nothing like going to space.
Well, I think this is a good segue into boyfriend in college.
So I dated this guy freshman year of college, and he was a teeny tiny white boy. And he always came off as the nice guy. And you know what the worst part about him? He loves Taylor Swift. I don't know if you remember that. He loved Taylor Swift. I mean, to the point that I remember that year her Speak Now album came out because he went to go buy it and played it nonstop. He even dedicated one of her songs to me. And when I first met him, he had a girlfriend who was at FSU, which was like 8 hours away from us. And at the time, I was my devious self where I was like, your girlfriend's so far away. Let's just party, have fun. And
wow,
I would still like go after him. But I also think it was because he was convenient for me because we lived in the dorms and he lived near me and he was just always there.
Proximity is always good.
Especially during that time where we didn't have a car. We couldn't go anywhere. We weren't old enough because in Miami, you have to be 21 to get into any place. So it was just convenience was more anything. And yeah, so then he broke up with his said girlfriend and we started dating. And in the back of my head, I always knew that he was probably still talking to his ex-girlfriend because a woman always knows. And I remember I would grab his phone to play like Angry Birds, I would say, but then I would of course look through it. Be like, let me play a game of Angry Birds. And I would start playing it. And then slowly after like the first game, I would exit out and start looking through the messages. And I remember this is when the iPhone first came out. And so he had an iPhone. And that's why I would always ask to play games because, you know, I didn't have an iPhone. And I would look, and I remember at the beginning, I would catch him, and then he became smarter, you know? Instead of, you know, saving her name, he would change her name to like a guy's name, to like Kevin or Andy. But homegirl was on top of it because then I started reading every single message, every group like, oh, Kevin, what'd you talk about with Kevin? Okay, I see. Who you calling baby? Why are you calling her name?
Kevin.
Kevin, I see it. And my dumb ass would always like hear him out
All of a
and be
sudden,
like,
Kevin
okay.
has a nice ass.
I was telling Kevin I love him because I do. He's my homeboy. We will be back.
Right?
But so I would constantly catch him. I would let him talk me out of it. And I'd be like, oh, okay. And then I'll never forget we were in the dorm room. And anytime you got a package, they would give you a slip and you would have to go to the front and pick up the package. And while I was leaving his dorm, he got that slip and it said it was from his girlfriend. And I was his ex-girlfriend. And I was so mad. I was like, let's go get this package. So we went to go get the package and it was this box like this big. And it had like a heartfelt note in it, candy, all these little knickknacks. And I opened the box, I see it. I see the letter and I said, you're not even gonna open it. We're gonna go throw it away in the trash. There'd be like trash chutes.
Yeah.
So in the
outside
first
of the dorms.
floor, you had the actual trash, like the dumpster. So we went outside to the dumpster and he threw it in there and we left. And I walked back to my dorm and he went back to his dorm. I went back and I told my roommates. My roommates freshman year were just as crazy as I was. It's like,
Yes, they were.
you know when you
Yes,
need
they
someone
were.
to talk you down? It's like they didn't talk me down, they talked me up. They said, "Oh, you think he's cheating on you? Don't worry about it." They're like, "No, let's go follow him. Do you have his location? I'll go get my car. Let's go get gas."
Right.
They were already a step ahead. And so I told them, oh, the package came in with a letter and they said, did you read it? And I said, no, of course not. I didn't even want to like think twice about it. Like, it's trash. So like, let's go get it. And I said, dale. So we went. I remember we had like a broom and a few other things. So in case we had to scoop it out. And mind you, this was like 10 minutes after he initially threw it in the huge trash dumpster. So not a lot of time has passed either.
Yeah.
We go into the thing and I look inside and it's gone.
He picked it up.
Not to be there. And I said, wait a goddamn minute. And I took the broom and I started sweeping, trying to see if maybe more trash came down and covered it. Maybe I'm not seeing it. You know, I know this motherfucker isn't crazy enough to jump into this. And within 10 minutes, this was like James Bond status. Like, how did you do it so fast and efficient?
Oh my God.
Now that I think, I don't know why I didn't even like question that. Like, that was so fast. So of course, when I didn't find it after like 30 minutes of rummaging, and then they're like, he got it. He got it. So then I went over there and I started saying, how dare you get it? I can't. And he was like, I didn't get it, I swear. But of course he did.
Yeah.
Where did it go?
100%. Yeah.
And of course, and I still continued on being with him because
And
that's.
I still
But
stayed.
and again, and this is what ruined. Anytime a guy likes Taylor Swift, it's a red flag in my eyes because he's tarnished that thought to ever be together. And continued on. I forgot what, I think, I remember it was my birthday, that it was like the last straw that I caught him some way or another. And then that was it. And
Fast forward however many years, 10 years since this happened and you guys broke up and whatever, I meet a girl in Miami that happened to best friends with this girl that was dating your ex-boyfriend. And she ended up going to Europe and cheating on him right and left. So, you know, karma
good.
comes back. That's all we're going to say. Karma comes
Yeah.
back. And apparently he was planning on proposing to her or something. So.
And I will say this, that being one of my first ever relationships, one can say, it really brought out my crazy. Like, I would say it would probably take a little bit of time, like someone dating a few people to really build that sort of level, or what do you mean, tolerance?
I was crazy the whole time.
But
Crazy the whole time.
well, I like after I found out that he, we were officially done and we broke up, I went crazy. And I think it was also my roommates who brought that out in me because they were just as crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, like,
no, screw that. He deserves it.
Oh well, no,
like,
yeah, no. I'm
we all
proud of
should be
myself.
crazy.
No,
Yeah.
I'm proud of myself. But I can say that I'll give my ex one thing is that he can really bring out the crazy in a girl, and I appreciate that. And I love that because I think I did good things. You know.
Yeah.
So for example, I would use his computer. He would give me his password to his computer, and when he fucked me over, I went to my computer. I knew his email. I put in his email, and the password I knew was to his computer, which I figured he used for everything, which he did. AKA, I logged into his Facebook, and I put on his Facebook as a status, I still love my ex-girlfriend. I only listen to her, and I posted it. Not only that, but I changed his password. I went into the account, changed his password so he couldn't get back in and change it.
Right.
And then his roommate was texting me, my dad's a lawyer and we're going to sue you if you don't give us the password right now. And I was like, you know what? It was funny, but now I don't even care that much. So I just said, okay.
Yeah.
I pity you at this point.
Men are like that. Like my ex-boyfriend of 8 years that you knew, I was like, I remember we were like emailing because we basically fought over every single communication method. So it's like email, like LinkedIn, every platform, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, whatever we had. It was like WhatsApp,
whatever we didn't block each other on. We were talking,
whatever, and then we like unblock and then like block each other. He may say that people. This is what bothers me too. It's like he can say that I was crazy, but who's crazier? The one that was crazy or the one that was dating a crazy person for 8 years? Like, screw you, bro. You're crazier. So he liked it as much as he will decide that, you know, so then I sent him, I think he blocked me on something, and I remember sending like a picture of him, a selfie that he sent me with his dick out, and I was like, whatever, I still have your dick photos. And then I got an email back like, my friend's dad is a lawyer and you can distribute these pictures. And I'm like, I'm sending them back to you. First of all, you send them to me. I'm sending them back to you. Who am I sharing these dick photos with? Just like us. You know what I mean? But I just kind of wanted to tell him like, yeah, this is what you left behind. He also has my dick photos because, you know, I also have a dick. So he also has mine. And I didn't threaten anybody with a lawsuit, you know, because I don't care. What are people going to see? Me naked? Okay. That's amazing.
You're welcome.
You're welcome,
world.
I guess Christmas is this is your present. I guess it's Christmas.
Wow. So you're trying to find me a new man too. Thank you for posting.
Exactly. And he was like, oh, my friend's dad is a lawyer. Like, don't like be commercialized in this photo. It's like anybody wants to see this man's like torso with something hanging down of it. Like, come on.
And this is, mind you, this is probably during a time where the cell phone cameras were not at its best, where it was like,
so it was
pixelated, very grainy.
Not even good content. Not even the gays would want it.
You couldn't even see clearly. I mean,
it's not. It has to be 4K, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's terrible content. Like, who's gonna want that? It actually probably gets filtered out if you upload it into like a porn site or something. It's like literally it just gets like filtered
quality
out.
Standards.
Like, you know what? Screw it. Thank you for your free content. We've decided that we don't want it, so maybe just keep it between you and yourself.
Thank you for your submission, but we will pass at this time. Think of us for any future postings. Thank you.
Next time, better quality imaging, and also maybe more people involved in the recording.
Maybe not just your torso.
You. Exactly. Like, who are you? No one's gonna want to see your content. You're not a celebrity. You're not important. Like, whatever. So I just feel like, men threatening with like lawyers is like so stupid. I'll counter sue because you sent me that, and I was threatened first by your dick photo. My brain is struggling to erase that, as opposed to the other the other images and memories that it has been able to erase.
But I'm just laughing because I'm thinking about how you said your brain purposely blacks out at certain points in your life. And it's like even your brain couldn't block that out. It's like
I have blocked out entire relationships. Somebody had to remind me that I dated somebody for 8 months, and I swear to God, I
No,
forgot
that's
about
same.
that.
That's why when you asked me, you're like, "Who did you date? What'd you do?" It was the longest thing. I'm like, honestly, a lot of it I don't remember. Like,
Yeah.
I know it was done, but who, what, where, when, why, how is lost on me.
Right,
Lost
right.
it.
But the
Especially
ones that stay, I think, are like the long term ones that you remember. You know.
where you go with your roommate to the dumpster to see if he took his letter out, and he did.
Exactly, exactly. Where you threw a chair at somebody after they had lied to you that they were not in the country when they were in fact in the country,
Wait, why don't?
and
Wait,
in a
what?
hotel room.
Okay, well, why don't we start off? Why don't we continue on with that story?
Because so this is again the person that you know that I dated for like 8 years. This man um wanted me to be, not crazy, but then he did things that would make you crazy. Like for example, I was like we were doing long distance and he was like I'm not in Miami. But I was like I feel like he's in Miami because there was like a work conference or something like that.
And let me just
And
preface this by saying he was outside of the country, long distance. Like
yeah,
he was
yeah,
not
yeah,
in the
in a different
U.S.
country.
He was in a
Yeah.
different country, and so for him to say that he is where she is more than just like a lie. It's
It's like a
unheard
stab
of.
in the back. It's like psychotic shit, right? So he's like, "Oh, I'm not in Miami," and I was like, "No, like you are." And then somebody, either one of his friends, posted, or maybe I found out somehow that he was in Miami, and that he was staying at this hotel. So I went to the hotel because now we're in like you've done this to yourself territory. Like, why would you lie about being in the same city as I am when I've like flown multiple times to go see you? And now that you're here, you're not, you know what I mean, like seeing me, because I think we were kind of in a fight, but like if you're mature enough, you like resolve it, and then like you see your long distance girlfriend, right? Anyway, so I go
And
to
you
the
don't, yeah.
hotel. They let me into the room. They tell me which room because I have my ways when I want to like actually get something out of somebody. And I go in there and I open the door, or not the door. He opened it and he thought it was like room service, and it was me.
Surprise.
So I think I like threw a chair at him. I don't remember. There was a lot of violence. I got kicked out of the hotel.
What was his excuse that why didn't he tell
He
you?
said that something like we weren't in a good place, or like he he was a Scorpio. Everybody, whoever dates a Scorpio man, I'm really sorry for you. Those people think that they're better than you and they make you crazy, and really they're the crazy ones because who does that shit? Like he really liked to put me in situations in which I would question what I was even like my reality, you know? So he
Like
would be
going to the
like,
dumpster and looking for a letter.
exactly. Like he would question. I would question my reality. I'd be like, did that really happen? And I don't even remember. I don't even think we were actually in a fight. Like we had an argument, but he wanted to, and I could tell. And honestly, I feel like if you asked him today, he would say yes, that this is true. I think he wanted to like punish me in a lot of ways. Like he wanted me to feel bad subconsciously or consciously for how our relationship came to be, which like you were there in the beginning. We had like a rocky start, but he could never move on from that. And so like a lot of things he would do would be to like punish me, I think. Remember like when he would throw parties, he'd be like, she can't come, like like he held that resentment or not with that person. I felt like I could let things go faster. I think I can let things go faster. Than he couldn't let things go. So he was just in a constant quest of trying to like see who was gonna come out on top. And that was one of the things he would do. It's like lie to me about where he was.
I just think it's because you would always outsmart him, and that never settled well with him. Instead of being like, "Wow, I can't believe I was able to," or how do I say this? Instead of being happy that a smart girl wants him,
But as much as he wanted as because every man says that they want like a smart woman, right? As much as he would say that, I really think he was looking for someone that was more submissive and
a
less
thousand, 110%.
opinionated. And maybe hopefully he's happy with whoever he's with, and hopefully they don't don't try to beat him at being smart, or just don't care, like.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of competition, and like you're right, because I think he wanted to be like, that's what he was very confident about, was his like brain. I could tell like that was like the one thing that he was very confident about, because he wasn't like he was like an alright looking guy, but he was like, kind of chubby, like, mid, I guess. I don't know. Like a like a 6 out of 10. I don't know.
Oh, that's generous to say. I think Sue's trying to hype her own man up, but I would say he was like a 4.7 out of 10.
Okay. Okay, thank you for being mean on my behalf.
No. Let me take that back because he was really nice at the start. I'll give him a 5
We're
out
talking
of
about
10.
attractiveness, Kat. Just attractiveness.
Okay, so 4.7, and I stand by that.
Fine. So he was 4.7. So he was like, I want to be at least the most intelligent one, like a 10 out of 10 in intelligence.
His thing.
That was his thing. Exactly, that was his
thing.
thing. Yeah, and there was like there were so many times where I'm pretty sure the advice he gave me was almost to make me not advance in life. This is like kind of controversial, but I'm pretty sure he was acting like I would be like, I'm going to business school. He's like, that's a waste of money. That's a waste of time.
Yeah.
That's not what that's not a supportive partner. That's like somebody that doesn't want you to be better than him. Because that's where I was going, right? So, yeah, it was never going to work out because he needed somebody that looked up to him, and he needed somebody that was always going to think that he was the best and the most intelligent man, and not somebody that was running away from him like I was, because I was advancing so much faster than he was. Then he was just like, oh, let me try to make her stop. And like, he literally was like, you should stay here in Miami and like now go to business school. And like, that's a stupid decision. And then I went, and it was the best decision. So yeah, it's interesting how people will try to ruin you even when they say they love you. So
even when they're with you, I feel like if I had a partner, the one thing I would want is like, I'd be like, if you want to go, let's go. Let's go together. But
yeah, that's how I was. I think that the TLDR, which is too long didn't read on corporate speak, is that you learn from your mistakes. The mistakes being your past relationships. And I think that you start learning about what you want and what you are. And that's why I dated a toothless man. And
a felon, a toothless man, a guy who would, sneak into teenage night.
Exactly.
I mean,
and now I'm in a healthy marriage. I don't know. I don't know if I could have this healthy marriage without having had those dating experiences, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like one thing, I'm more secure in my craziness because I know I have it. It's in there. And when it's needed, it will be dealt with and done. And I'm at peace with that. I'm at peace with...
Yeah, and I look forward to seeing your craziness in future relationships.
In future.